so I have a bit of a backup here. You guys hear me okay? Type yes if you hear me okay. I'm going to wait just a second. Yes, 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 yes. You hear me? Okay, now as we're going through this, okay, good to see everybody here tonight. Good to see everybody, and good to have you. Good to have you on. I had a marker in my hand, and now I misplaced the marker. Isn't it funny how sometimes you can just kind of space out like that? Hold on, just 1 second. Grab this one. I got like 800 of these markers, and every week I have my wife go get me new markers. She buys me like this huge package of them, and then she buys me the package, and I lose them all. So here's the deal. First of all, I always preface my live streams with this. I live in Costa Rica. Part of the magic of being in the jungle and by the beach like this is the technology isn't perfect. Okay, so sometimes I'm in the middle of talking, the live stream goes out. Now I'm going to be looking over to the left because I can see if we're live or not. But sometimes it goes out, right? And if it goes out, stay here because I'm going to be back. And if it goes out and you're in the chat, because only 250 people can fit in the chat, let other people know that I'll be back in a minute. Okay, and what I'll have to do is I'll have to come on, lower the bandwidth, get a little bit of blurrier picture, and should be fine for the rest of the live stream. We've been lucky. It hasn't happened here for the last 3 times, okay? But 3's a charm, so it happens, okay? Usually once a week to me, my internet will go out for 2-3 minutes or something like that. Fair? Everybody good? Okay. So tonight, what I want to do is I want to show you how to take the tension out of your business, right? The tension, right? And I want to teach you how to build your business resistance-free, completely in a way that doesn't make sense to normal people who are in this industry. Now, if you've been in the industry a while, okay, like you've been in for a long time, you've done the home meetings, you've done the direct mail, you've done PPC, you've done article marketing, you've succeeded, maybe failed a while, maybe succeeded again, maybe failed, and you've struggled and bounced back, and you've struggled and bounced back, and you've struggled and bounced back, okay, or you've just been around for a while, you know that most people just kind of grind it out, right? They're on the phone, they're closing all day, they're just grinding it out. They're grinding from one day to the next day to the next day to the next day to the next day. And when you're in that space of grinding it out, what you wonder is there really the freedom that we talk about? You ever wonder that? You guys know what I'm talking about. You can type yes. Okay? We can wait for that in a second. So what I'm going to teach you how to do tonight is I'm going to teach you how to make your business flow. Right? Now, what's flow? Well, there's a great book, and I can't remember who wrote it, but I think it was called Flow. And I did read the book. It was ages ago. But they define flow as the psychology of optimal experience, right? And what do I define it as in this industry? I define it as resistance-free production, right? Resistance-free. Now, tell me, those of you who are on here, and I'd get your teams on this. Even if you're not in Empower Network, this information will benefit you and your team, okay? How many of you would like it if from now on in your business, from now on, from this moment, instead of the pain and the grind and the struggle and the suffering, right? All of a sudden in a moment, you were in a spot in your business to where every time you picked up the phone, you closed a sale. Every time you sent out an email, you made $1,000. Every time you put an ad up, you had leads coming into you almost instantly. Every time you decided to turn it on, it was like you turned the faucet on and the cash starts flowing down. Every time you desire, you can just pick up and you can travel to wherever you want in the world. Whenever you want to, you can walk into a car lot, you can buy whatever you want that you see. How would you like it if all of a sudden, these people that you see having these magical, mystical powers, all of a sudden, those abilities and those powers were yours? If you'd like that, just type yes over there in the chat if you'd enjoy that. Now, somebody says, you can hear me? Okay, you guys can hear me. So, we're going to show you how to create resistance-free production to the point where everything you do creates income and everything you do creates joy. Now, to get to this space, you got to understand why people decide to buy stuff. Now, I'm going to take you guys through some processes, those of you who are on this live stream. Now, there's going to be two groups of people who are on this live stream, right? Two groups, right? Now, some of you guys are in with us and some of you are not. Now, if you're in with us, if you're in already, I want you to type yes over there in the chat. If you're in with us already, type yes. Okay, just type yes, I'm in. Yes, I'm in. Okay? Yeah, you're in. You're in. Okay, so a lot of you are in, right? Now, a lot of you guys who aren't in, you're going to kind of be quiet in the background, folding your arms or whatever, okay? And a lot of you guys will be open and a lot of you guys will not be open. That makes sense? And that's okay. You don't have to buy anything here. You don't have to pull out your credit card. You don't have to make a decision. You can just sit where you're at. But if you absorb this information, you have a choice. And there's going to be two groups of people in this choice. There's going to be the people who are willing to walk through the experience that I'm going to take you through, right? And by walking through the experience, these people here are going to learn something. They're going to learn an insight that's going to change their life. And then there's going to be people over here, no matter what I say and no matter what I do, no matter what powers of persuasion I might possess, there's going to be these folks on this side, and they're going to refuse. They're going to refuse. They're going to say, oh yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning hard, right? And they're going to refuse to absorb what I'm teaching. And they're going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go learn the secret somewhere else. And then they're going to spend money on book after book, on tape after tape, on CD after CD, on seminar after seminar, on event after event, on company after company, and they're going to jump from product launch to product launch and webinar after webinar, and all the time, if they would have just relaxed and been willing to walk through the door that I'm about to show you tonight, they could have had it. So the question is do you want to learn or do you not want to learn? Okay? And to learn, you got to be willing to experience what you want other people to go through. Now, I'm going to tell a story, a couple stories actually. One of them I told in an email, but it's a true story, okay? And when I send the email, sometimes people think I'm joking. Sometimes I am joking, but I'm always telling the truth about a story that actually happened to me. Because I've experienced a lot of weird stuff because I'm kind of weird, and so I see a lot of weird stuff because I like weird people, and then they're into all this strange things, and then I get to see things that normal people don't see. For example, the Hypnotist Show. Send an email about that. Now, if you guys got that email about the Hypnotist Show, all right, if you guys got the email, just type, yeah, I got the email about the Hypnotist Show, right, where the guy was, the fairy, okay? Well, let me actually explain in words to you this story, because I actually was just thinking about stories of hypnosis, and then that kind of popped into my head. I was sitting there and I was like, what's a story that I could share to illustrate this point? And all of a sudden it was like, bam. You ever experienced in that where you're sitting there and you're sitting there and you're kind of staring at the wall, and then it's like, bam, you got an insight, right? Well, I had this story pop into my head, but it's been since I've been 15. I'm 30 now, so it's like half my life ago, right? So I'm sitting there at a fair in Fairbanks, Alaska, and I got this friend. His name's Nathan Kessie. He's like 6'8", like this tall, and he was 15 too. He was a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo, had been taking it since he was a little kid. He was huge, acted like he was manly, but really kind of a scared kid inside, because he's just like been gigantic and everybody's been afraid of him his whole life, kind of the zit-covered kid. He's not like that anymore. But in any case, so Nathan Kessie, this badass, right? We go to the Hypnotist Show. And we're like, Nathan, dude, go up. And he's like, dude, that dude can't hypnotize nobody. These people are just faking it. And so I said, okay, yeah, well, fine. And he's shy, okay? Now, had I not seen this, I don't know if I would have believed what I'm about to tell you can happen, okay? So this guy was not an extrovert. He wasn't an actor. He didn't like getting in front of people. He took Taekwondo because people picked on him when he was a kid because he was like the too tall guy, because people pick on you for everything. If you're too short, you're too short. If you're too tall, you're too tall. One guy's got zits, another person, you don't got any zits. You're not even going through puberty, right? They teach you about everything when you're a kid, right? So this kid was too tall. So he's kind of like this Taekwondo master, right? So shy. So he goes up to this hypnotist, and he's sitting there like this, closing his eyes, resisting, refusing. I'm going to stay stuck as best I can. And then you know what happens? Is he starts chuckling and laughing. Then he starts to relax. The hypnotist starts talking to him and he says, I want you to imagine something with me. Can you do that? And he's like, well, yeah, I can do that. And he's like, I want you to imagine a time when you were totally peaceful and relaxed. And just go back there with me now and step into your body and see the sights around you and feel the feelings around you and sink your toes into the ground where you're standing or lying or wherever you're at. And where are you? And he's like, I'm on the beach. And all of a sudden he starts to relax. And then 10 minutes later, Nathan Kesey was doing whatever this guy told him to do. And I saw, this is what he told him to do. He said, you know what just happened, Nathan? And the guy said, what just happened? He says, you just got magical powers. In fact, you're now the Tinkerbell fairy and can grant people wishes with your magical wand and love to give people wishes for free. And he put a skirt on and ran through the audience saying, wishes, wishes, with his magical wand like this, granting people wishes in the audience. It was the most hilarious thing I'd ever seen in my entire life. A 6'8", zit-covered, 15-year-old Taekwondo master kid granting people magical wishes in his skirt, running through the bleachers in the audience, right? And I thought he was joking. And he came down, and I was like, after he was done, the guy woke him up, and I said, dude, that was something else, man. I ain't never seen anybody, come out of the closet like that on something. I don't know if, you got a secret there or what's going on. It's okay if you do. And he was like, what are you talking about? I was just sleeping. And there's like 5 of us, and we were like, oh, you weren't just sleeping. And he was like, yeah, whatever. And he was mad at us because he thought we were collaborating to piss him off because he had a temper because he got made fun of as a kid because, he was too tall, right? And he actually refused for the entire day to believe that he ran around in a skirt granting people magical wishes in the audience, right? He refused to believe that he did it. He wouldn't believe that he did it. We all told him he did it. People in the audience told him he did it. People were looking at him like this at the fair, like, is that guy with the skirt granting wishes? And he still would not admit he did it until somebody showed him a video of him in a skirt running through the audience, and he was just infuriated, mad. So how do you get a 6'8" guy who just refuses, who just, how do you get the prospect who just, I love my soap, right? To do what you want him to do, right? Well, you got to take him through a process. Now, if you understand this, right, there's a science to where rather than, if you understand when people make decisions and why people do stuff, there's a science to only having conversations at the moment when they are ready to decide, that moment, right? And you just pop on the phone, you have a conversation, you have a little talk, and you say, hey, Frank, great to talk to you. Pull out your credit card. And you say, he says, do you take Visa and Discover? And yes, either one is fine. Just pull out your credit card. And here, I'm going to give you a link. And if you click the button below this video, you can actually pull out your credit card. And you can fill out that page, and you can actually buy this right now for only $25, and we're going to go ahead and do that for you. Yeah, okay. And then everybody you talk to just pulls out their credit card, and they purchase something. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that, wouldn't that be amazing if, just like getting a 6'8" Taekwondo guy who's shy to act like the Tinkerbell failure, you could get your customers to just say, hey, here's my credit card. I just wanted to get you to pull this out and buy stuff from you. Now, who would be excited if everybody just decided that they were going to just, your customers all of a sudden from now on in your life, instead of this resistance and frustration, this pain and the suffering that you went through, they said, hey, Bob, here's my credit card. Hey, Susan, here's my credit card. Hey, I'd love to buy from you. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that be just a wonderful, great thing? Okay, type yes if you think that would just be a wonderful thing for you guys to do. Now, some of y'all are going to be a little bit skeptical of the ability to do that, but I'm just telling you now, if you want your team to be able to recruit, you better get them to this thing. So go ahead and tweet this and share it on Facebook and get them here. Now, just as a warning in advance, you guys are obviously welcome to pull out your credit card, right now. And you say, Dave, how much is it? Well, it's only $8 million. You can click the button below the video. Come on, just do it. Anyway, so another experiment. So I learned these strategies. Let me tell you about another story, another experiment, okay? Experiment. So you learn something and you experiment. This is how you learn stuff, right? Any marketers in here, anybody who does direct response, what do? You're a scientist, right? You're a scientist. There's a difference between guessing all the time and being a scientist. What's the difference? Well, one difference over here is the person who's in Amway who wanders around, right? You're wandering around and you're basically acting lucky all the time. You're just wanting to be lucky, right? Does that make sense? There's a difference between wandering around and wandering around and wandering around and wondering what to do and wondering what to do. And then over here, you do scientific experiments, right? Scientific experiments. Now, what's the difference? Well, here's the difference. Over here, you got a bunch of ideas and you never test them. You just try everything. And you don't track anything and you don't keep results and you don't watch and see what happens and you don't keep observation logs, right? And over here, what you do is you have a theory. Who knows the scientific process? If you know the scientific process, right? Write the scientific process over there in the chat. Now there's over here scientific experiments. Now in marketing, we got scientific marketing experiments. In influence, we got persuasion experiments. And you guys got to treat this as a game or you're going to be real frustrated. Richard Branson treats business as a game. Donald Trump treats business as a game. Chris Howard, NLP guy, treats it as a game. Tony Robbins, winning the game, right? Why are business people always talking about playing the game? Because they treat it like a game. They treat it like a chess match. They treat it like a strategic maneuver where they're a scientist doing experiments to see if they work or not, and when something works, they repeat it. Does that make sense? So what's the difference? Well, a scientist over here, they have a theory based on something they observe or learn, based on the evidence that surrounds something. And then what they do is they test the theory, and then what they do is they test the theory again to validate whether it works, and if it keeps working, they form a hypothesis, or this is probably the wrong order. It's like a hypothesis and then a theory, right? Somebody else, I mess up definitions all the time because I'm ADD and a little dyslexic and words spill all over the place. But the point is, you want to test stuff. So I learned these ideas about how to get people to buy stuff. How to get people to buy stuff. How can you get people to buy stuff on command whenever you want? How can you get people to make a decision to buy stuff? How can you do it? Well, what I learned is that you take them through this 5-step process. And when you have the right group of people and you take them through this process, it's like that money flows like a river from their credit card into your bank account. It's like they're taking their credit card and pulling out the credit card. And it's like they're magically sending ones and zeros from their bank account to yours. It's like they're making a deposit into the bank account, but instead of depositing into their bank account, they're actually depositing into yours, right? It's that easy. It's like you're a genie in a magic lamp and you're rubbing yourself and granting yourself wishes. It's that cool. Okay, so I learned this magical 5-step process to get people to make a decision to buy stuff, right? And I tested it in several different situations. First thing I did was I tested it in the affiliate marketing industry, right? I tested it as an affiliate. What did I do? I became the #1 producer in the largest generic attraction marketing system out there. I tested it in 2 different network marketing companies, and what happened? I became the #1 recruiter in 2 different network marketing companies, right? I tested it selling my own products, and what happened? I did hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales with no chargebacks and no refunds, working less than 2 hours a day, right? And then I tested it here at the Empower Network, and what happened? We paid out $4 million in commissions, $4 million in 120 days, getting shut down twice by banks. So those 4 times it worked. Now, there's another time it worked I wanted to tell you about. Who went to the Live the Dream event in Orlando? If you went to the Live the Dream event and you were there and you saw me speak, I want you to type yes. Hypothesis, theory, procedures with control group test, retest, compare results, report. That's the scientific process. So you were at the Live the Dream event, right? You were at the Live the Dream event. Now, you guys saw me speak at the Live the Dream event. How many people saw me speak, sell absolutely nothing? Absolutely nothing. Nothing existed that I was selling. And how many people saw the entire room of people stand up and literally run to the front of the room, pull out their credit card, make a decision to buy, and throw money at me on stage? How many people literally saw an army of people throw money at me on stage? If you saw that, type yes. I saw that. You were there. It was amazing, Juanita. What happened? Those of you who were there, tell us what happened. People got up throwing money at me on stage. They literally made a decision to buy nothing, throwing money at me in a 45-minute speech, right? Now, those of you who saw that, you saw people literally get up out of their chair, make a decision to pull out their credit card, and they were throwing their credit card at me. They were making a decision to buy something, and they didn't know what it was, right? Now, if I could teach you to go from struggling from pain to where you could get a room of people to pull out their credit card and throw it at you, how many people would be excited about a room full of people literally running up and throwing money at you on a stage, talking about literally nothing? How many of you would be excited about that? If you're excited about that, type yes. 400 people run to the stage with blank checks, throwing money at me on the stage. Didn't they? Didn't they throw money at me? You saw that, Ed? So are you guys excited about learning this information or what? Now, if you want to apply this, I'm just telling you guys something. To really apply this, you're going to need to decide to buy some stuff. Yeah, you don't have to. You can kind of keep the credit card at bay, but just kind of pull it out and set it on the table. You could wait till later, okay? Now, just so you know, so you say, Dave, what's this mystical, magical 5-step process to get people to decide to buy stuff, to get people to make decisions, to pull their credit card out, and right before your eyes, right in front of you, while you're laughing and joking and playing, without trying, without resisting, without hard closing, without struggling, they pull their credit card out right in front of you and say, Ed from Ohio, I want you to just take my credit card. Just take it and take as many ones and zeros as you could possibly take, because I want to give you money. I want to pull my credit card out and give you money. All right, you guys excited? So if you're excited, I want you to type, yes, I'm excited to get people to buy more stuff. All right? You gave me, Ed, I gave my credit card without knowing the amount to be charged, right? You'd rather have the cash, right? People threw cash at me. What's the 5-step process? Yes, I'm excited. All right. Now here's the goal. You got to use this responsibly, and there's some resources that you're going to need to study and listen to and learn that I'm going to talk about in this video, that if you study these resources, you will learn to do this, okay? Some of it you can learn now, some of it's going to take a year, but if you listen to what I'm going to tell you, you're going to be able to do this. Then I'm going to take the formula, I'm going to show you how to apply it into a structured process to recruit 2 to 4 people a day, automatically, resistance-free, without working hard, without struggling, without straining, without being on the phone all day prospecting, without hitting up grandma, without chasing people around in Walmart, right? Without hitting up random strangers and saying, please, please, please join my... I am going to show you how to do it through this magical, mystical 5-step process. And literally, people will pull out their credit card and they'll say, Mary, I don't know what this is, but I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm deciding right now to buy stuff from you. And it doesn't even matter what it is. Okay, so you're excited. All right, so principle number one. Number one. You've got to create rapport. I'm going to go back, actually. There might be 6 after I go through this, because I'm going to stop, and I'm actually going to go through a whole process with you, so it makes a little bit more sense. So principle 1, you've got to break attention. Break attention, right? Now, what does that mean when you break attention? Well, it means that people are distracted and bored all the time, right? Let's be honest here, all right? How many people here have been bored most of the day, right? I mean, your work is boring, the TV's on, the kids are running around screaming, the things are roaring in the background, right? You're bored all day, right? And then all of a sudden, this weird, strange guy in Costa Rica starts whispering into a microphone, and you get all excited, right? How do I do that? Well, you got to break people's attention, because otherwise the rest of it is hopeless, all right? So in marketing, this is like a capture page. Does that make sense? This is the goal of a capture page. Now, the thing that happens after the capture page is really important too, but in marketing, that's the purpose of a capture page, is to snap in front of people and break their attention and get them to pay attention to something. It's the only purpose of it. Does it make sense? Right? Principle number 2 that you've got to do. You've got to create rapport. Now, what's rapport? Well, rapport is not. I used to actually call this report. What? Anybody ever pronounce it like that? Report? You know, you're a little dyslexic or ADHD too, and you look at that and you're saying it's a report, like a school report. You know, like that's what I used to think that this meant. So I used to look at it funny and wonder what the difference was between this and like getting a report card. You know, so I didn't know the difference, but I'll explain the difference. So what's rapport? Rapport is the magical, mystical state where the listener listens and receives instructions almost automatically from whoever they're listening to. A very natural thing to do, right? Like, I want to give you guys some examples of rapport here real fast, okay? Give you some examples that all of you can experience, right? I want you to think of a time when you were totally in love. Just with me for a second here, okay? When you were totally in love. And I want you to actually imagine it. Now, nobody's looking. I can't see you. Keep in mind, you see my face, so if I look ridiculous, I'm not seeing you look ridiculous, okay? I don't have a way of tapping into your webcam and stealing your attention, okay, and forcing you to see your face so I can observe you, okay? So go ahead and be ridiculous. You might be alone in the house or with a spouse. And no matter who you're with, I want you to play along, okay? I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine a time when you were totally and completely in love. And you were looking at your partner, your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, your dog, whatever you were in love with. And I want you to go back for a second into that moment when there was nothing but that person. And everything around you stops. And when you've got that feeling,